Hi fans of high quality entertainment. Now, in my community, and I always talk about it, but in case you don't know what it is, on my front page, I'm on my phone right now as you can see, but even on the PC, if you go to my front page at the top, there is community. And every day I ask my viewers questions. It gets really annoying. And I have polls and everything. A lot of music related questions and polls. So you might find it interesting. My latest one is asking for the few who enjoyed my albums, what were some of your favorite songs? Please don't list more than 50. And actually some of you, 9 of you have commented so far, so thank you. But enough about me and my crappy music. Let's talk about one of the greatest albums of all time by some people. Yeah, just over a day ago, I asked my viewers in the community, is the Beach Boys' Pet Sounds one of the greatest albums ever? And you can see with the votes there was a yes, a no, and a I've never heard it. So, there were 812 votes. 62% of you said yes, it's one of the greatest albums of all time. 21% of you said no. And 17% of you have never heard the album. And the reason I all of a sudden out of the blue asked that question was, that night I was in my bedroom listening to music as usual with my headphones, and I had this CD on. I've had it. Now this one is from 2001, so I probably bought it around that time. And I will occasionally listen to it, but recently, and I've always enjoyed it. I can kind of understand some people thinking it's one of the greatest albums of all time, but I never fully connected with it until this week, which is kind of cool. It happens with some records. Seriously, like, you know, you might listen to an album, like, I'm talking about the young people here. You might listen to, say, Greta Van Fleet, and you think, oh, it's not very good, don't like it. And then 2, 3, 4, 10 years down the road, you happen to listen to it, and it might finally kick in, this is a really good rock album. And I personally now think, for me, it's one of the greatest albums of all time. Wouldn't it be nice? But I will say this, there's the mono version on this and the stereo version. I just can't listen to mono. It's like, the sound quality for me is so much better in stereo. And, but wouldn't it be nice? What a great opening track. The vocals are just superb. You Still Believe in Me, That's Not Me, Don't Talk, Put Your Head on My Shoulders. Put Your Head on My Shoulder, It's Beautiful. I'm Waiting for the Day, Let's Go Away for a While. Sloop John B, I used to think kind of didn't fit with the rest of the songs on the album, but this week, the last couple of times I've heard the whole album, I love that song, and I think now that I was wrong. God Only Knows, which Paul McCartney has said is the greatest song of all time for him, and I can see that. Really beautiful vocals by Carl Wilson. And about vocals, Brian Wilson does a lot of the vocals on this album, and just the tone of his voice, it's so nice. Absolutely love it. I think my favorite songs on it would be Wouldn't It Be Nice, That's Not Me, Sloop John B, God Only Knows. I just wasn't made for these times. Even the two instrumentals, Pet Sounds and Let's Go Away for a While, I think, is the other instrumental. I really like them now. In the past, I thought they kind of like filler type tracks, but now I think they're just gorgeous. And Caroline No, and there's a dog barking just like at the end of Caroline No. Isn't that just weird? And so this is the 2001 version I have, and I'd like to ask Beach Boy fans out there, for sound quality, is there a better newly remixed or remastered version of this? Because if there is, then I'll buy it. Or if you think this one is totally fine, lots of reading materials. And, you know, I love the Beach Boys' 60s music, and I know they released some really good albums like Sail Away and stuff like that. But I never fully became, I was never like a huge Beach Boys fan. I just kind of admired quite a few of their songs. And the other thing I wanted to say about the vocals on Pet Sounds is Mike Love, who isn't necessarily one of the most liked people in rock music. I actually like his nasally, is that how would you say his vocals, nasally? I really do like when he sings on this, especially this particular album. Album. People tease me. Album. What a great album. So they can laugh at myself. Yeah, so I would just love your thoughts. I should have planned this better. I was actually going to read, there's the back. The only thing, as I ramble on, the only thing is, of course, this cover isn't one of the greatest album covers of all time. And it's funny too, I read just the other day there about Dennis Wilson here. It's like, there's nothing there. What's he feeding? There's absolutely nothing there unless it's a really, really tiny animal there. Maybe it is. Maybe it's a little baby there or something, but I don't know. I like the original capital label there. So, I just wanted to read just a handful of responses to that particular question in my community. And there it is right there. An earlier poll, like the one before, couple before, was which of these 5 classic rock albums is your favorite? I had The Who, Who's Next, The Beach Boys' Pet Sounds, Pink Floyd Metal, AC/DC Back in Black, and Genesis Selling England by the Pound. You know, I thought, you know, kind of a bit of a variety with progressive rock and whatever in it. And the winner with 39% was the Beach Boys' Pet Sounds, even with classics like the Who's Next and AC/DC and Genesis and Pink Floyd. I wonder how that would have done if I had put in The Dark Side of the Moon, though. I should try that someday. So I'll just end this with reading a couple of positive and a couple of negative comments on my question. Don't hate me, just my opinion. This is Luke444. Don't hate me, just my opinion, but I've always personally loved the Beach Boys. However, I'd say Pet Sounds is one of the most overrated albums of all time. Just my opinion. You're entitled to your opinion. Yes, this is Big Ed. Yes, absolutely. Any album that can inspire the Beatles to be better has to be. And Janet Sampson, Bob, call him Bob. I remember when it came out, Larry, I wasn't very impressed with it, but I was just a kid. at the time. I was expecting and wanting the typical Beach Boy songs about cars, girls, and surfing, and this album was kind of different. I really should give it more of a listen now that I'm older. I know that there are some great songs on it, Larry, like God Only Knows and Wouldn't It Be Nice, and maybe there's other songs on the album as good, but to me nothing the Beach Boys ever did matched Good Vibrations and California Girls, which I consider true masterpieces of theirs. And I agree with that, but I'll say the songs of Pet Sounds are just as good as those songs. And one more, Brent Weeks, one of the most sincere, uncompromising classics of the 60s. And then the negatives, Day Tripper 66, no, it has a couple great songs on it, but it is not a great album. And then Copite TV, overrated pop music. So everybody has an opinion. Everybody's a critic. So that's it. Let me know if you agree that this is one of the greatest albums of all time, because I think it is now. Bye. Have a great day. Be sure to check out my community front page. Now.